Hello everybody, it's Anna here again today, and today we are at CAERNARFON Castle in North Wales, actually just sitting at the gateway to Snowdonia here in North Wales, and we're here to learn some history of the castle and also do some bits of Welsh language as well. So come along and join us, you are very welcome. Don't forget, welcome in Welsh is croeso. Now, CAERNARFON Castle is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it is recognised around the world as one of the greatest buildings of the Middle Ages, and is built on the bones of a former motte and bailey castle, typically wood on a raised area of ground, that dated back to the late 11th century when Edward I of England decided to replace it with this current stone structure in 1283. The origins of CAERNARFON Castle began, well, having led the successful Norman conquest of England in 1066. William the Conqueror sought to claim North Wales, which at the time was under the command of the Norman Robert of Rhuddlan. Upon Robert's death, his cousin Hugh, Earl of Chester, reclaimed Norman control by building 3 castles, one at Aberlleiniog on Anglesey, one at an unknown location believed to be in Meirionnydd, and the third here at CAERNARFON. And this earlier version of CAERNARFON Castle came into possession of the Welsh princes following the recapture of Gwynedd in 1115, where it remained for more than a century, and visitors of this expansive motte and bailey structure included Llywelyn ap Gruffydd, also known as Llywelyn the Last, Prince of Wales from 1258 to 1282, and Llywelyn the Great, King of Gwynedd and eventual ruler of all of Wales. And it's at this period in history when CAERNARFON Castle, or as it was known at the time of Welsh ownership as Castell Caernarfon, begrudgingly changed hands for the first time. And in 1282, England's King Edward I, naughty King Edward as we say, working alongside royal architect James of St George, led the brutal charge into Wales with the support of a massive army of soldiers, pushing forth from Carmarthen, eventually gaining control of the Conwy Valley, and shortly after battling with the Welsh opposition, led by Dafydd ap Gruffydd, brother of Llywelyn ap Gruffydd, Edward I, naughty Edward of England, and his men captured castles and began building their own to establish an overwhelming rule, including sites at Harlech Castle, which we've also got on our channel if you want to see that, and a stone, well, a new stone, well, this one basically at CAERNARFON Castle. And it was not only this site at CAERNARFON that King Edward and his master mason had in their sights. They also took advantage of the Welsh landscape and began to dot the northern area of Wales, the North Wales hills and valleys, with multiple fortresses, creating reinforced towns like Beaumaris Castle, which we've also got on our channel. I think we've still got Beaumaris Castle on our channel. We may have taken that down, but it's going back up again. If we did take it down, we'd taken an awful lot of videos down, but when we were tidying our channel up. But we have got Conwy on our channel, Conwy Castle, and the town walls in which Edward colonised English immigrants could settle. It's very interesting. CAERNARFON here was strategically chosen at the southern end of the Menai Straits because it allowed for sea access between the north and western Welsh coasts, and the site of this great castle wasn't chosen by accident. It had previously been the location of, like I said, a Norman motte and bailey castle, and before that a Roman fort stood nearby. The lure of water and easy access to the sea made the banks of the River Sayant an ideal spot for King Edward, naughty King Edward of England's monster in masonry, which is this castle. Edward's castles in Wales were located near to water or along the coast, permitting travel between them and resupplying by water rather than over land, which was risky and vulnerable to interception and ambush by the Welsh. And the castle was born out of bitter war with Welsh princes, so of course its immense curtain walls and daunting Kingsgate were designed to withstand assault. Here Edward and his military architect, Master James of St. George, erected the castle, town walls and a quay all at the same time, and this gigantic building project eventually took 47 years and cost a staggering £25,000, which it would have been a massive amount then, wouldn't it? It's just a fascinating place. Fantastic. Despite Caernarfon's resilience and imposing size, not all were happy about this English-led invasion, and the protesters let their anger be known. The Welsh revolt of 1294, led by Madog ap Llywelyn, turned rebels throughout the country against the ruling English, and the protesters set out and destroyed many of the walls and fixtures of the castle, and some even managed to breach the incredibly secure gatehouses and occupy the main building before Edward I marched troops into Wales to quell the riots. By 1295, Edward's men had recaptured Caernarfon, rebuilt many of the damaged walls and penalised the protesters for the revolt. This would not be the last besiegement that Caernarfon would see, because just over a century after the Welsh revolt, Owain Glyndwr, our famous Owain Glyndwr, a descendant of the Princes of Powys, exacted his own vengeance against the Kingdom of England in 1401. And 2 years later, Owain's supporters launched a deliberate attack on Caernarfon, storming the castle, this time with French support, in an untimely, unsuccessful attempt at capturing. And like many of the castles and town walls of King Edward I of England in Gwynedd, it wasn't long until Caernarfon fell into disrepair despite the rich pedigree of its inhabitants. By 1620, conditions were so poor, decayed materials included rotted timber, that only the Eagle Tower and the incomplete King's Gate had roofs. However, the building was in good enough standing structurally that it managed to survive being besieged 3 separate times during the English Civil War in the mid-17th century. Following a surrendering to parliamentary forces, English again I'm struggling with, by the castle's own constable John Byron in 1646, Caernarfon would never again see fighting. The pillar of Eliseg that's coming up shows we've got a video of Eliseg's pillar on our channel if you're interested, but it just shows the names of the native-born princes of Wales. Now, as we know, King Charles now of England, who is the King of England, he was the Prince of Wales. He had the title the Prince of Wales, though he wasn't a native-born Prince of Wales like the ones on this pillar. So, but in 1284, naughty King Edward of England brought his heavily pregnant wife to this castle, likely to ensure that his son would be born here so that he could make him the first English-born Prince of Wales in 1301. And that is very significant. And here, I should say, is Prince Charles having his investiture as Prince of Wales in 1969. So it's all very, very interesting. And here we are at Caernarfon Quay. So there we are. That's some history of Caernarfon Castle. and I hope you enjoyed it. So I think we'll leave it there for today from CAERNARFON Castle, the UNESCO World Heritage Site, here on the fringe of Snowdonia and in North Wales. And we'll say ta-ta for now, and we'll see you on the next adventure, or the next Welsh lesson, or the next Welsh history lesson. Don't forget to keep practicing your Welsh, because practice makes perfect. Ta-ta for now. Nos da.